Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on the nature of romance, a romance movie. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out our other two videos over at Bitchute and Rumble. Two other videos every day on the other platforms where we don't have to censor ourselves, right, Little Joan? Little Joan has a lot of things to say that are pretty spicy. But this. Oh, and links to my books if you want to support the channel, because I'm demonetized here. But this is yet another trailer where I can talk about the format of a romance movie. And this is so generic, it's almost painful. Painful to watch the trailer. The entire movie's here in the trailer. You don't have to watch the movie. You could literally watch this trailer and be like, oh, I just saw the whole movie. And it follows the exact formula if you want to write a romance and you want to sell one to like the Hallmark Channel. So you've got it's all female centric. So you've got the successful woman who's a writer in the city, and her friend wants to go glamping, right? Because that's a girly thing. You know, we're gonna go camping, but we're gonna do it with all this great stuff because we have lots of money. So her friend convinces her to go, and she rents a big giant bus RV, which is essentially a house, so they don't have to worry about anything, right? You can go camping, you know, have a TV and a bedroom, and you know, plenty of food and a fridge and a shower. And so this is supposed to be mildly amusing when they show up, and then the handsome park ranger runs into them, and she nearly runs him over. And she, of course, meets him and is like, oh, I'm not interested in him. I'm here for the camping. I'm here to relax. You know, and her friend's trying to push her along. But then, for some reason, her friend leaves. She has an emergency or whatever, leaves like the second day and leaves her alone. She's stuck in the woods. And then, you know, the ranger feels bad for her and then brings her to his little ranger camp where he's got kids there, and he's great with kids. Like, that's an actual line in the trailer, and that's an important thing if you're writing one of these very sappy romance things aimed at women. Like, oh, he's good with kids and he's handsome. He's perfect husband material. And so this is so the women watching the movie can sort of swoon over him and go, oh, why can't I meet a man like that? So of course they get to know each other, and he takes her camping, and his parents used to be park rangers, and his mother was highly influential, which is another great sign for women with men, right? Oh, my mother was so influential, and she wanted everybody to see this great place. It's so special. It's a special place. You could just hear the women writing this. And then, you know, he eventually brings her to a secret waterfall that he couldn't find before, that, you know, his mother showed him once and he forgot where it was or whatever. And then, you know, they become romantically linked. See, not right away. You know, there's a lot of wind-up. In women romance, you want tons of wind-up. And then, of course, they get a thing going on, and they kiss, and then it's like, oh, they're kind of a couple, but eventually, you know, he's trying to convince her, oh, please, you know, maybe you could write an article for me. And she says, well, you know, the people I work for wouldn't be interested in an article about this place, but I could write a grant for you. So she writes him a grant, but then overhears him talking to his boss saying like, oh, I couldn't get her to write an article. And then she immediately assumes, oh, I've been used. And she leaves in a huff, because that always happens in one of these movies. This is right around the end of the second act. This is the big crisis. She thinks he's, and you know, he's talking to his friend Big Lou, and he thinks that, you know, there's a misunderstanding, in other words. She thinks he used her and doesn't really love her, and then he has to show back up in the big city after he gets the grant. He tries to tell her, and, you know, oh, we got the grant. Oh, well, I guess that's all that was important to you. And he's like, no, only you were important. That's not really true, according to this trailer. You know, the grant was incredibly important to him. And why should she be so bent out of shape? I don't know. But this is the artificial drama. And then she's talking to her best friend, and, you know, he shows up with a puppy dog. I mean, Jesus. Could this be any more transparent? And then he has to grovel and win her back, and that's the nature of romance. Da, da. So he wins her back, and happily ever after, and they kiss, and they probably get married. That's a thing. Now, let's see if I can get the credits here. Wow, these are, I mean, nothing like putting white font over a kind of white, off-white background to make it even harder to read. But story by Boris Isaac. So, not written by a woman, but there you go. Screenplay by Michael I can't read the name. Perrine, directed by Christine Conrad. Rad with a T. So, you know, this is pretty generic. I, of course, would never see this movie. It would make me, there'd be no way in hell. You couldn't pay me to sit through 90 minutes of this. Because first off, I've already seen every major point in the movie. Every major point is there. I just spoiled the entire movie for you. Sorry, spoilers. But it's so painfully, in the trailer. I mean, I don't feel bad telling you what I saw because that's in the trailer. That's what they're putting out. Reel One Entertainment. Like, I guess they're just cranking out these things. This is the kind of thing that would be in a hotel or on the Hallmark Channel or any romance channels. And it's very much aimed at women. It's just about romance. This is a little romance trash novel. Now, I don't mean to degrade. I'm not trying to say these people are bad people for doing it. They're fulfilling a niche in the market of this romance. But, they've given away the entire plot here. They've given away literally every major plot point in this trailer, and that's bad. They should not have done that. They should have kept it a little more up in the air. Well, will they get together? Even though it's so obvious they will, and it's a romance movie, but, don't give away the store here. Tell us without telling us everything about the movie, Up until the point, if things get turned around, maybe just give us a little bit of the conflict, where she overhears him talking to her boss and then leaves and I don't know what I'm going to do. End. The nature of romance. I have to go see her or something like that. Like, don't show us them getting back together. It's too much. You've literally given away the entire movie with this. But this movie should be very short. This movie should come in under 90 minutes. If this movie was 2.5 hours long, Jesus, that's way too long. But I would guess it's probably a short movie. It's probably almost exactly 90 minutes. Because it feels to me, and this is all just my opinion, but it feels to me this sort of cookie cutter romance stuff. And quite frankly, I think women deserve better. But, this is the kind of stuff, and you could say, oh, well, I just want a mindless romance. Okay, sure. And maybe you just want the fan service that this provides for you. But there's a way to do this same story and make it interesting. To make it not about a misunderstanding. To put other characters in this to give you a feel like you don't know who's going to end up together. Right? You don't know where this is going. It's a romance movie, but maybe it won't end like you think it will end. If you put enough of those sort of red herrings in, it can make it a more exciting movie. And then, when you cut the trailer, you'll have some, red herrings to throw in there. So people go, I don't know what's going to happen here. It seems like a romance movie, but maybe it ends in sadness, but they both grow or something like that. Because sometimes romance movies can end that way. It ends where the two don't get together, but, they both grow as people and they're both better off for the relationship, and that's a positive too. So, you can learn a lot from screenwriting in a movie like this if you don't know the basics. Because this, to me, is so basic. And look, I blasted a little too hard to be getting there. I feel bad now. But, it's shot well, it's acted well, the sound's good, all the technical stuff is great. But script-wise, it's very basic B, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, that's it for me and Little Joan today. and we'll see you tomorrow.